There was a rumor about this kid I grew up with that he would make out with his sister, but no one knew for sure. So everyone would say jokes about it to his face. And one day, he got so upset at the jokes that he decided to fight back. So when one kid said, "Hey Johnny, do you make out with your sister?" he said, "The only reason you don't kiss your sister is because yours is ugly." And everyone went silent. And it was funny because he started to cry and then the kid who bullied him also was crying. I was arguing with someone on TikTok and I made a comment that said, "You talk like you're 9 years old." And I click on this person's profile to see what they look like. And their bio literally says 8 years old and all their posts are Roblox clips. I was beefing with an 8-year-old and I was losing. This is your warning to not shop at Walgreens because my mom works there and they get robbed every single day in like the most bizarre ways. Like the other day, she got home from work and I said, "How was your day?" And she said, "Oh, we got robbed again." And I said, "What happened this time?" And then she said, "A guy came into the store, didn't say a word, walked behind the cash register, somehow knew the passcode to the cash register, typed it in, took all the money out, and then walked back out of the store without saying a word." I said, "Did anyone try to stop him?" She said, "No, we're not supposed to." Yeah, for minimum wage, I wouldn't either. And she says this as if it's just a normal Tuesday. Like there was another time where she came home and she was like, "Oh, we're getting robbed right now." I said, "Right now?" And she said, "Yeah, but my shift ended, so I just clocked out." I said, "You clocked out during a robbery?" And she was like, "Yeah, the guy's been robbing the store for 3 hours." I said, "How does a robbery take 3 hours?" And she was like, "Well, he came in and we recognized him because he's robbed us before. So we called the cops, and when the cops came, he saw them and got scared. So he locked himself in the bathroom, and that's where he's at right now." And I try to convince her to quit the job because she doesn't need it. My dad makes good money, but she just does it for fun because she's bored. And I'm always like, "Mom, quit your job." But she's always like, "No, I don't want to quit my job." Yes, you do. I hear you complain about it every day. But my question to everyone that works at Walgreens or a store like that, is this normal or does my mom just work in Gotham City or something? What do people talk about? Because like, I'm not shy, but I just cannot think of anything to say when I'm talking to someone. I see people having conversations for hours and I'm like, what do you guys talk about? Because after I say, "Hey, how are you doing?" I'm finished. It's gotten so bad that one time I Googled what to talk about with people and the search results terrified me because all of them were like, "Hey, don't worry, I don't know how to talk to people either." But now I'm 39, single, no friends, and I have a lizard. And honestly, I kind of like this life. Like, no offense, but I do not want to be you. I made a video where I was dancing and the top comment said, "This is why we need to bring back bullying." But the worst part is it had 45,000 likes. Do you know how many people that is? This is what it looks like. Imagine this many people saying that you deserve to get bullied. The worst part is, you guys are right. I probably deserve to get bullied for my dancing. But I don't see you on Dancing with the Stars, huh? Let's see your dance moves! Why are some teachers just the worst people ever? Because I have a class where we have to write essays every single week, and almost everyone always fails because the teacher grades it so strictly. And this week, the girl that sat next to me got her score back before me, and she started crying, so I said, "What did you get?" She got a 94%. That is like unheard of, so I asked her how she did it. And she said she used a website called Aether.com. So I looked into the website and it's crazy. So this is how it works. All you have to do is give this website a topic to write about and it will generate an essay for you. You put how long you want it to be and you can adjust how you want the tone of the essay to be so it sounds like it's coming from you. And it can even give you references in different formats. And it will give you the most detailed essays you've ever seen. And I know what everyone's thinking. These types of websites always get caught by AI detectors. But this is the first website I've found that can autocorrect AI to make it sound like it's been written by a human. And it obviously worked for the girl in my class. So do with that information what you want. I hope it helps. This is your reminder that your parents aren't racist, they just don't have a good memory. How does that correlate, you may ask? Well, you see, I have a friend who's Asian, and my parents love this kid. They always say how nice he is, but my parents' problem is, they can never remember names. So whenever I say I'm going to hang out with my friends, they ask which ones, and I say, "Jaden," and they say, "Is that the Asian one?" Yes, Mom, he does happen to be Asian. But here's the other issue. I have a couple friends who happen to be Asian, so asking if he's Asian isn't enough to know who it is. So after they ask that question, they say, "Oh, is it the one on the heavier side?" Wow, I mean, he has red hair, so you could have asked if it was the one with red hair, but yeah, I guess he's the one on the heavier side. But they love this kid. They don't mean to say it with any harm. They just can't memorize names. Even mine. One time, my mom said, "Get in here, Ryland." I've never met a Ryland in my life. So is anyone else's parents like this, or is it just mine? There's a trend going around where people ask if you were to pass away, who would be the 6 people to carry your casket at your funeral? And this trend terrifies me because I got like 2 friends. How do y'all have so many friends? I see a bunch of people going out every weekend with different people. Where did you find them? Is there a secret on how to have new friends that I'm just not aware of? Because I got 2. They're about to be dragging my casket like this. How do people cheat? Like, it genuinely seems hard to cheat because I knew someone that was in a relationship and while they were in it, they would go on Tinder and try to find people to hook up with, but they would put their location in 200 miles away from where they were actually at because he didn't want anyone in his area to find out that he was on Tinder and tell his girlfriend. So when he would get a match with someone, it would be 200 miles away, and he said he would literally drive out all the way there, hook up with her, and then come back the same day. Like, that's a full-time job. I don't get how people can be this down bad though. Like, you obviously don't love your girlfriend, just break up with the poor girl. But he told me that a lot of people actually do this. So have you guys heard of this happening before? If you were a doctor and you were on a plane and someone started to have a heart attack, what would you do? Because one time I was on a flight and someone started hyperventilating and then they passed out. And someone was like, oh my gosh, is anyone on here a doctor? And one guy raised his hand and said, yes, I am. And then they said, can you help this guy? He just passed out. And you know what the doctor says? He says, oh, I'm not that type of doctor. I'm a dentist. Then why would you raise your hand? You think this guy needs a cavity filled on the plane? No! Luckily, the guy that passed out ended up being okay, and it turns out he was just nervous because it was his first flight. But I know now that when that doctor goes on flights in the future, he is not raising his hand. When I go on TikTok, there is something evil that happens to me because, like, if I see a baby in real life, I'm like, oh, that baby is so cute. But if I see a baby on a TikTok post, I'm like, that baby is so stupid. Why is it looking at me like that? I just become a D1 hater. Like, I flip a switch in my brain and it just becomes so hateful. Is anyone else like this? Don't go anywhere near the little kids that own a Stanley Cup, because I was walking past a group of them after they just got out of school, and I had my cheap little knockoff water bottle flask with me, and apparently these kids bully anyone that uses a cup that's not made from Stanley. You know what these little kids said to me? They said, why don't you have a Stanley Cup? Are you broke or something? First of all, I'm not broke. I just like my cheap bottle, okay? And third of all, you're 8 years old. You're broke. If I cracked open your piggy bank, there would be like 73 cents in there. So the $11 that's in my bank account should be like $1 million to you. But yeah, don't go around the kids with Stanley Cups. They will hurt your feelings. I was staring at a girl on the bus because she had a piece of gum in her hair. And right as I'm about to open my mouth to tell her, she says, excuse me, I have a boyfriend. So I was like, all right, you're gonna give me attitude, I'm gonna give you attitude back. So I was like, what does your boyfriend think of your hair? And she said, why do you care? As she was running her fingers through her hair. And then she felt the piece of gum and she started crying. And I felt bad at first, but then she accused me of putting the gum there. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna mess with her. And I said, no, I didn't put the gum in your hair. Although I did see a homeless man earlier chewing on gum and he isn't anymore. And she started screaming. You may have done something embarrassing today, but it wasn't as embarrassing as what I did. I was talking to a mom that has a special needs son, but she didn't say what type of disability he has, and because I'm on TikTok way too much, I accidentally said, oh, is your son acoustic? Instead of saying autistic. She was like, are you asking if he likes guitars? And I didn't even realize I said it wrong, so I said, what does his disability have to do with guitars? And she said, you asked if he's acoustic. My face instantly turned red. That was the last sign. I need to throw my phone off a cliff. Why can guys not show emotion to each other without it being weird? Because my friend just literally beat cancer. And when he told me that, I reacted by saying, that's amazing, bro, I love you. And I tried to give him a hug, but he backed away. And then he gave me a weird look and I said, what's wrong? And he said, that's weird, bro. You can't say I love you, then go in for a hug. We're dudes. Bro, you just beat cancer. I'm not trying to take your pants off. All I was saying is that I love you and I'm glad you're alive. But he was like, nah, that's just too weird, bro. So from now on, if any of my friends do something amazing like beating cancer, this is how I'm gonna react. Oh, you beat cancer? Hey, that's fire, bro. That's fire. Someone is catfishing people on Tinder by using my pictures, and all I have to say is, that is awesome. I will admit it is messed up, but do you know how flattering that is? Like, you think I'm good looking enough that you're gonna catfish people with my pictures? Like, that is the best compliment you could get from someone. Now, I will say, it is weird, so whoever's doing this, don't be saying weird stuff and pretending that it's coming from me, because I know you're a little freaky if you're a catfish already. But if you're gonna be using my pictures, don't be too freaky, all right? But also, at the same time, thank you. I really needed the confidence booster. I appreciate it. This is a warning if you're thinking about texting your crush first, because I used to like this girl, but I would never text her because I thought to myself, if she likes me back, she'll initiate the conversation. But she never did, so we literally never talked. And I saw her for the first time in years yesterday, and I asked her, why did you never hit me up? And she said, I was waiting for you to make the first move. So we literally never talked because we were both waiting for the other person to make the first move. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn, I wonder what could have happened between us if I hit her up first. But now she's engaged, so I think that's off the table. But this should be your sign. If you like someone, text them first. They'll probably be happy you did, or they'll block you. At least you'll get an answer. I always thought I was the funniest kid in school until this kid that was an orphan showed up. And he was misbehaving in class one day, and the teacher said, Anthony, if you keep misbehaving, I'm gonna call your parents. And Anthony responded with saying, wait, you found my parents? When I heard him say that, I was like, damn, bruh! The one thing I had going for me was that I was funny. And now this kid stole it! Tomorrow's my first day back at school. I'm so excited. So excited. So excited. was driving and I sneezed, so I swerved a little bit and the car next to me honked. But they didn't stop there. No, they sped up right next to me. And remember, they have tinted windows so I can't see inside their car. And I was thinking this guy's either just about to flip me off or curse at me or something. So he rolls his window down and what does he do? He throws a piece of cheese at my car, then rolls his window right back up without saying anything. Why do you even have cheese in your car? Are you going to a picnic or something? This is your warning to never do what the guy I just saw at Target did, especially on Valentine's Day. He was in an argument with his girlfriend, so I went to the aisle right next to them so I could hear what they were arguing about because they were not being quiet. So when I started listening, I could hear the girl saying, "You always do stuff like this. You're so cheap." So I was like, what's he being cheap about? So I keep listening and they're just going back and forth, but they haven't revealed what exactly made her angry. But then I hear him say, "It's the thought of the card that counts." And she says, "The card is $5. You don't think I'm worth $5? So after a little bit more arguing, I figured out that what happened was this man went to Target on Valentine's Day with his girlfriend, went to the card section, picked out a card for her, let her read it, and then he put it back. The worst part is this guy was wearing like nice Jordans, so he can't be that broke. I kind of get it though, because once you read a card, what do you do with it? You throw it away anyway, right? But you just can't do that to your girlfriend on Valentine's Day. I can't wait for when Christmas time comes around and he takes her to like the Chanel store or something and he lets her try on a bunch of different purses. And when she finds the one she loves, she says, "Ooh, can I please get this purse?" And he says, "Wasn't wearing it in the store enough?" I feel like that might actually happen. So if you have a girlfriend, don't do what he did or you won't have a girlfriend anymore. This is a warning to never put your phone on Do Not Disturb mode because my friend got arrested for trespassing. But you may be asking, what does that have to do with my phone being on Do Not Disturb? Well, you see, my friend lives by himself and the rest of his family lives a couple states away. So if he ever has a problem, he either reaches out to me or one of our other friends. So he got arrested and I had no idea this happened until I looked at my phone and I saw that I had a voicemail from 9 hours ago. But I didn't recognize who the voicemail was from. So I clicked on it and I listened to it and it turns out I was his one phone call from jail. Why would you call me? Who do I look like, Saul Goodman? But anyways, I called the jail back and apparently he got released by the time I saw my voicemail. So I called his actual number to see how he was doing. And he said that he was fine and that he walked home from the jail when he got out. So in my head, I'm like, oh, the jail must be pretty close to where he lives then, right? So I Googled the location of the jail and he lives 7 miles away from it. So I called him back and I said, "Dude, did you just walk 7 miles home?" And he says, "Oh, is that how far I walked?" So this is your friendly reminder to never put your phone on Do Not Disturb because your friend, that's now a felon, might get stranded if you do. Have you guys ever had a friend who got their braces off and then all of a sudden they started biting the air every time they talked? They would be like, "Yeah, I did get my braces off. How did you even notice that though?" Like, we see your chompers, okay? We get it. Your lips look like they're trying to twerk every time you talk. Why aren't you mewing? Bro needs to start mewing. I don't know what mewing is. I keep hearing about it, but it doesn't make sense to me. How do I mew? Okay, I just looked it up, and apparently you have to put your tongue to the roof of your mouth, and it makes your jawline look better. So I'm gonna try it. Ready? Yo, wait 1 second. Yo, do you see that? Yo, my jawline looks amazing. Wait, one more time. Yo, I'm doing it. I'm mewing. I'm a mewer! Does anyone else feel like they were born in the wrong generation? Because imagine if they put me and you in the 1800s and this absolute banger came on. When I die, I don't want people to say the same thing they always say, like, "Oh, he had such a bright future," or "Oh, he brought the best out of everyone." No, I didn't. I was an instigator and I thought the moon was made out of cheese. Does that sound bright to you? I think I'm just gonna stop going outside, guys, because I can't stop oversharing to random strangers. Someone walked up to me and said, "Hey, I like your pants." And I said, "Thanks. I accidentally sharted in them one time, and now there's a stain on the inside." Why would I say that? When I was 10 years old, I went to the barber for the first time and tried to stab my barber with scissors because he asked what haircut I wanted, and my friend had a really cool afro, so I told him I wanted an afro too. He laughed at me, and I had no idea why, but I had really bad anger issues when I was a little kid, so I got his scissors from off his desk and tried to stab him. All of a sudden, he stopped laughing and told me that I was never allowed to go back in his barbershop again. So I want to go back today and see if he recognized me and kicks me out, or if he'll let me get a haircut. Why did no one tell me that Black History Month has a flag? Because I just horribly embarrassed myself. I was waiting in line to get food at the airport and the person behind me complimented my jacket, so I wanted to give them a compliment back, and they were wearing a little pin on their shirt. So I said, "I like the pin you're wearing. Is that the country you're from?" You know what they said? They said, "No, this isn't a country. It's the Black History Month flag." Bro, I thought that was the Lithuania flag. Do you know how embarrassing that is? Luckily, they laughed it off and they were cool about it, but my face got so red. This is why I don't open my mouth, like ever. I'm stupid. I'm just stupid. How do people have hobbies? Because the other day, someone asked me what my hobbies are, and I was like, oh, I have a bunch of hobbies. And they're like, yeah, like what? And I panicked because that was a lie. I don't have any hobbies. So I was like, sleeping. I like sleeping. Napping. Napping is pretty fun. Spoons are cool too. Forks are pretty, I don't know. This is embarrassing. What hobbies do normal people have? Have you ever been in a conversation with someone where they say something sad, but like kind of funny, and then you just respond with the most insane facial expression ever, and then think, I should not have made that face out loud? Because I was talking to someone and they were telling me how their grandma passed away from falling off a jet ski at 84 years old. And I kid you not, this was my reaction. I did that face for like a second and then I stopped because I was like, that is the most out-of-pocket reaction I could have just had to what she said. I think I just have like no social awareness at all. I want a man that's Delulu. Oh, I'm so Delulu. What does that mean? I can't keep up with all these new TikTok phrases. I finally just learned last week what glazing means, and now I gotta figure this out. Who comes up with these? I was watching a bunch of motivational videos last night, and they hyped me up so much that I set my alarm for 5 a.m. this morning because I was gonna go on a run. Well, now it's 5 a.m. and I have no idea what I was thinking last night. I'm going back to bed. Since old people in nursing homes like to listen to music from their generation like this, does that mean that when our generation is in nursing homes, we're gonna be like this?
Fuck a pigeonhole, I'm a night owl, it's a different mode.
A girl at my school asked me out and I panicked because I did not want to say yes, but I also didn't want to hurt her feelings. So I said, yeah, I'll go out with you, but you should know that the last girlfriend I had was a little bit crazy. And after we broke up, she saw me talking to another girl and she bit a part of her ear off. Poor girl can't even hear out of the right side anymore. I was lying. This did not happen. My ex-girlfriend was not Mike Tyson, but it was enough to scare her off so that every time after that, when she saw me in the hallways at school, she would turn around and speed walk the exact opposite way. So if you need an excuse to tell someone no when they ask you out, just use that. It will work. What would you do if a little kid's mom tried to pepper spray you? Because that's what happened to me today. I was minding my own business and then a little kid comes up to me and says, your shirt is ugly. And then he does a cartwheel as he walks away. And I could have just let the situation end there, but I have a very fragile ego. So I decided to say, hey buddy, your cartwheel is ugly. And this made the kid start to cry. And he ran to his mom and pointed at me. And then the mom started to walk over to me and I was like, oh, I know I'm in trouble now. So I pretended to be on a phone call. You know, like when you're too scared to talk to a girl, so you pretend to be on the phone. But the mom did not care. So she went right up to me and she started screaming at me. So I tried to de-escalate the situation and I said, lady, I'm sorry for what I said to your kid, but he's also a snitch. And then she tried to pepper spray me. And I don't blame her for trying to pepper spray me. It was honestly kind of a boss move. I should probably just stop arguing with little kids. Be honest with me. Can I wear this outfit that I'm about to show you to a wedding? Because I think everyone's either gonna hate it and laugh at me, or everyone's gonna love it. Here's the outfit.
Doing the things that I never would know. Treat me like what's this.
What do you think, huh? Never mind, my mom said the outfit makes me look like a grain of rice, so I'm not wearing it. I dropped my phone on the ground and it cracked the camera, so for some reason now, every time I record, if something goes across the screen too quickly, then it like glitches out. Here, I'll show you. What? It didn't work that time, so now I just look like an idiot. I'm gonna do it again. I'll prove it to you that it happens, I swear. Why is it not doing it now? One more time, it's gonna happen. Come on, man. My phone is gaslighting me! If your mom was being held hostage at a place that's 45 minutes away, would you listen to music on your drive to go save her? Because I would be like, come on, hurry up. Come on. There we go. All right, come on. I just saw the most stupid robbery ever. A lady was walking out of a Dollar Tree and a thief comes in and steals her purse. How dumb do you have to be to rob someone that shops at Dollar Tree? They are shopping there for a reason. They don't have money. The thief probably has more money than the person they robbed. What are you gonna steal? Her pennies? I saw a TikTok video where someone was able to run 10 miles because they just imagined someone that's trying to pinch their nipples is chasing them. So I'm gonna try it. Mile 1 done. I feel so fast. This is easy. I could run forever. Mile 2 done. This is the worst thing ever. I don't know why people do this for fun. Mile 3 done. Tell my family I love them. I don't think I'm gonna make it home. I'm still on mile 4. I'm pretty sure I am paralyzed from the waist down. I've accepted the fact that this is the spot where I will pass away. A bug just flew in my nose! A bug just flew in my nose! It just flew out. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna destroy it. It amazes me that bugs can go anywhere they want, but they choose to go up my nose and up my butthole. Seriously, if I was a fly, I would go to Hawaii or something. Instead, they choose to hang out with me while I try to beat them to death with a bat. Found it. No! This is so disgusting. My dog keeps farting while I'm trying to eat, and now all my food tastes like seasoned farts. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. The food even smells like farts now. The fumes from his farts are literally attaching to the food. His gas is literally making my eyes water. Imagine that fart spray that used to be popular. This literally smells like it, but 10 times worse. It's like eating a fart. This sucks. I love Wingstop, but I don't know if I could eat this, and it's so expensive. My phone is literally fogging up from his farts. I need to open a window. What did you eat? I have seen 3 different animals pass away in 3 really weird different ways this week. The first animal I saw pass away was a possum. It was in a trash can, and the trash can fell over, the possum rolled out, and I ran it over on accident. The second time, my dog was barking at a squirrel, so the squirrel climbed up a telephone pole, got electrocuted, and fell into our pool. And the third time, which was the most stupid, was I was getting into my car, and then I started to close my door, and as I closed my door, a butterfly tried to fly in, and I crushed it. I had a friend who ate a butterfly once. Weird kid. I'm pretty sure he's in prison now. But anyway, has anyone else seen stuff like this happen to animals? Or am I just cursed? I just ran over my hamster. I'll show it to you in a second, but it died yesterday, and I put it in a box because I was gonna go bury it today. And for some reason, I put this stupid box on top of my car. So when I drove away, I ran over the box. I'm so sorry, Alfred. You didn't deserve this. I went to a barber that doesn't speak any English, and this was a big mistake because when he asked me what haircut I wanted, I told him I just wanted it a little bit shorter all the way around, and he must have not understood a damn word I said because this is what he gave me. What the? He turned me into Coconut Head! I was just in a hot tub with 2 deaf people, and it got so weird because they would look at me and then do sign language to each other and laugh. So I knew they were either judging me or making fun of me. And listen, I don't discriminate. If you want to talk trash, I'll talk trash. So my first idea was to cover both of their eyes so they couldn't communicate anymore, but that was kind of too far. So I did this motion back to them because I thought that meant like F you or screw you. But then they laughed even more. So I looked it up, and apparently this is calling someone cute in sign language. They were not cute. They were mean. So if anyone knows how to talk trash in sign language, please tell me because I need to fight back next time. When I was younger, me and my classmates got our first day of school ruined because these older guys did a drive-by on us. And what I mean by that is 2 guys drove around in their car with megaphones and yelled, "Santa's not real. Santa's not real." You would have thought that the school just got bombed because everyone was crying. The worst part, these guys were lying. Santa is real. He is. He is 100% real. They were lying. They were lying, okay? My friend passed away the other day, and his mom texted me saying, "Hey, could you send some pictures of you with him?" Because she wanted to have pictures of him with all of his friends shown at his funeral. So I was like, yeah, of course. So I started scrolling through my phone, and it was at that moment where I realized me and my friend in our 13 years of friendship have never taken a picture together. We were good friends too. One time a raccoon was chasing me, and he grabbed it and threw it like a frisbee to save me. I guess it's just true what they say about guy friends not taking pictures with each other. And don't get mad at me for laughing, okay? Because even his mom thought this was funny. Someone told me that I really need a therapist, and that sounds like a great idea, but my problem is I would just lie to them. It would be like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah." "Are you lying?" "Yeah." Okay, well that's all the time we have today. That'll be $500. If ghosts are real, the scariest part about them is definitely the fact that some of them are probably British. Ooh! Whoa, a ghost, cool. Oi, bravo, you're not scared of me? You're British? Ah! What would you do if you accidentally made everyone in your school throw up? Because that's what I did. So I was at school one day, and the guy sitting right next to me farted. But he blamed it on me, so everyone laughed at me. And I decided right there that I was gonna get revenge on this kid. And luckily, he was throwing a party at his house that night. So I was trying to think of ways that I could get payback on him. And then it hit me. I'm gonna spray fart spray all around his house, so people think that his house smells like farts. So I got to the party, and everyone was having a great time. And I snuck around the house and sprayed fart spray everywhere. And if you know anything about fart spray, it smells awful. But I thought what happened after I did this is that everyone would think this kid's house smells like farts, and they would start laughing at him like they did to me. But I think I sprayed so much of the fart spray that it literally made people throw up. Like everywhere. One person even threw up on the guy's dog. I didn't want that to happen. Honestly though, I only did this because I was insecure. So be proud of your farts. I just Googled the name of a kid who used to bully me when I was 12 years old. First thing that pops up, a GoFundMe. His house burned down! I obviously feel so bad for him and his family.
Somebody call 911. Shawty fire burning on the day.
No one talks about how crazy it is when people that you went to school with start to get married, because there's 2 people from my school that just got married. Meanwhile, I still live with my parents. I asked the guy who's getting married what he likes to do for fun, and he said that he likes to do wedding planning with his fiance. And then he asked me what I like to do for fun, and I was like, oh, I like to play Minecraft. I don't know. Like, bro, I'm still just a little baby, and you're getting married? Like, I practically came out of the womb yesterday. I'm still an infant. How do people break up, then get in a different relationship like a month later? Like, how do you do that so quick? Because I know someone who got cheated on, and he was crying for like 2 days straight because he said he thought this was the girl that he was gonna marry. And 3 weeks later, I see that he's on a plane to go see a new girl. How did you do that so quickly? Like, I've been trying to be in a relationship for my whole life and haven't been able to do it once. And you did it twice in 1 month? Why can't people sit in silence together? Like, sometimes I want to hang out with someone, but I don't want to talk. I just want to be in their presence. But whenever it gets quiet, we always feel the need to say something. And then it leads to stupid conversations like, who invented the order of the alphabet? Like, bro, I don't know. Can we just be quiet? Never get into an Uber if the driver seems weird, because I got into an Uber the other day and the driver was a little creepy from the start, but I was like, whatever, no big deal. But then he took a wrong turn and I was like, excuse me, sir, I think you missed the turn. And he said, don't worry, I know a shortcut. But he kept going in the wrong direction, so I was like, oh, I know what's going on here. I'm getting kidnapped. At least that's what I thought was happening. So he continued driving, and I kept trying to make excuses for him to let me out of the car. Like, there was McDonald's on the side, and I was like, sir, you could just drop me off here. I'm feeling pretty hungry. And he says, oh, I can't do that. I gotta take you to the destination in the app or else I'll get in trouble. I mean, you've taken like 10 wrong turns already, but yeah, stopping at McDonald's is what's gonna get you in trouble. So anyways, 2 minutes later, he pulls into an elementary school parking lot and I'm thinking, there's no way this man's allowed within 500 feet of this place. But he went in anyway, and you know what he did? He picked up a kid from school. He went 25 minutes out of the way to pick his kid up from school. And honestly, I respect that. But why are you driving me too? But that's not even the funniest part. After the kid gets in the car, he looks me up and down like this and goes, what's up, Holmes? First of all, you are 7. Why do you talk like that? And second of all, did you just look me up and down to see if I'm armed? So now I'm in the car with 2 people and I'm more scared of the kid than the dad now. Like, I'm pretty sure if I cough weird, this kid's just gonna start stabbing me with a pencil. But anyways, 25 minutes later, he gets me to my destination. And this man has the audacity to say, hey, don't forget to leave 5 stars. So you know what I did? I stood up to him and I said, yes, of course, sir, absolutely. And walked away super quick. This man had my address now. I was not about to give him 1 star. If that Uber driver or his son are watching this video, actually probably more to his son, please don't come in my house. I'm terrified of you guys. I went to school with a guy who just got put in prison for murder, and he was super popular when we were in school. So now that he's in prison, a bunch of our old classmates are posting stuff on social media saying to free him. This man got booked for murder, not littering, and you want him to be free? You want him to roam the same streets that your mother roams? And just for context, when we were in school, he used to pretend to stab people with a pencil, but we would just laugh it off because he was the cool kid. Now we know he was just fantasizing about really doing it. California State Prison, if you are watching this video, do not free him. He will do it again. The other day, I was recording a TikTok and my friend says to me, have you ever realized how bad your posture is when you make these videos? And I said, no, I haven't really thought about it. So I'm recording myself from the side right now on another phone to see if it's as bad as he says, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. The other day, I was making a TikTok and my friend says to me, have you ever realized how bad your posture is? I look disgusting. You know what? I'm never slouching again. I'm not. If you see me in public, I'm standing up straight like this from now on. When people say massage parlors are scary, they are not kidding. I just went there for the first time and this tiny Asian lady was there working and I had no expectations going into this, but now I know to never go back. First of all, she forced me to take all of my clothes off, like all of them. At first I took off everything except my underwear. Then she aggressively told me to take those off too. She literally said, take off underwear. So I don't know if that part is normal or if I'm like a victim now or something. But anyways, the lady that worked there was like the smallest person ever. Like, I think if a chihuahua saw her in public, it would eat her. But I think she was possessed because there is no other explanation for how she was so strong. When she massaged my back, I thought she turned into the Hulk. It felt like she was doing a WWE takedown like this. Oh, my back. I think I broke my back. I started screaming because it hurt so bad. And then because I screamed, she slapped me and said, no screaming. It's a good thing the place was so dark because if she saw how much I was crying, I think she would have chopped one of my toes off or something. The other day, a lady came up to me and asked me to take a picture of her with her family. And that was a mistake because I thought I was a great photographer. Like, I try really hard to take good pictures. So I took their picture and I asked them how they liked it. And the lady goes, oh my, she has a southern accent, by the way. She goes, oh my gosh, I love these pictures. They are just perfect. So I was like, awesome. I felt great about it and I walked away. But as I'm walking away, about 2 minutes later, I see another person taking their pictures. So I'm thinking clearly the wife lied to me and she thought my pictures actually sucked and needed to ask another person to take it for her. And for some reason in that moment, I thought it would be a good idea to go back over to her and ask her what was wrong with the pictures. So that's what I did. And she said, I'm just gonna be honest with you. You might not have a future as a photographer, sweetie. I was like, damn, I pretty much assumed that you didn't like the pictures already, but you didn't have to say that. So then I said, what specifically was so bad about the picture? And she said, well, for starters, you didn't actually take any pictures. And I was like, yes, I did. And she said, no, you didn't. You took a slow motion video. And she showed me her phone and she was right. I took one 20-second long slow motion video. Then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. And she was like, yeah, we asked for a photo, not a slow motion video. And I was like, oh my gosh, sorry. I thought you guys asked for a slow motion video. Of course I knew you wanted a photo. It was an accident. But either way, that was very humbling and embarrassing. So if you see me in public and want me to take a picture of you, I'm gonna say no because I have PTSD now. I just got banned from this cemetery because I was at a funeral for someone I don't know because I like going to random funerals, but I'm also really bad in awkward situations. And a lady at the funeral was crying, so I said, hey, don't cry. Just picture everyone here naked and you'll start to smile. And to be fair, she did stop crying, but only because she was yelling at me now. After she started yelling, more people came over to us and everyone started to realize that I didn't know anyone there. So I got kicked out of the funeral and the security guard said that I'm banned from ever going to that cemetery again. I told him, you can't ban me. My great grandma lives in this cemetery. But then he said, you're gonna be right next to your great grandma for eternity if you ever come back. I switched up so fast. I was like, yes, sir, I'll never come back. So now I can never visit my great grandma again. That kind of sucks, but it's my fault. By the way, rest in peace, Martin. Sorry if I ruined your funeral. So coyotes are allowed here, but I can't ever come back? Come on, man. So I have a teacher that's from Russia, and I have nothing against that. But I cannot understand a word this guy says. And also, I don't know if it's just because I'm not familiar with Russian culture, but some of the things that this guy says to students literally sound like threats. One time, a student's phone rang in class, and the teacher got really angry, and he yelled, "You will suffer for your actions." Suffer? I'm just trying to learn calculus. I can't even understand math normally when someone's teaching it to me. How do you expect me to understand it when I can't comprehend what the teacher's saying? On the first day of class, he picked me to answer a question, and he said, answer number one. And I said, sorry, what question? He said, one. I said, sorry, I still can't understand which question you're asking me to answer. And he said, answer number one. And he pointed to the first question on the worksheet. And I said, oh, number one. And I'm pretty sure he thought that I was making fun of him. So now he hates me. So I'm definitely going to fail his class. And I'm probably going to suffer for my actions too. I still don't know what that means. Get ready with me to go to a funeral. So my grandma passed away last week, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm really sad. But she left us her house in her will. And I'm sure some of you will probably say, okay, cool, she gave you her house, but you should still be more sad than you are right now. And to that, I say, shut up. My grandma would want me to be happy. Matter of fact, she always told me that I was her favorite grandson, mostly because she had dementia and she forgot all her other grandkids. But still, another reason I'm so happy is I heard there's gonna be a chocolate fountain at the funeral. What? Are they gonna put a bounce house there too? Like you're telling me if you were at a funeral and they had a chocolate fountain and a bounce house, you would not be happy. Anyways, this is the final look.
You my wish, you my bitch, there's a kiss.
রুটি ঠান্ডা গেলা
রুটি ঠান্ডা
ঠান্ডা মানে আব্বা বরফের লাহান ঠান্ডা এটা রুটি
শ্বশুর আব্বা আপনারে আপ্যায়ন করে নাই খাতির যত্ন করে নাই না আব্বা আমি যে
বিলাই মারার রাত আজকা আজকা যদি তুই ঠিক মতো দামকে দিবার মানুষ বাইরে গেছিস গা নালে বললাম সারা
আর দোস্ত মাগো আছে ওগো খানদান আর আমাগো খানদান এক না অদ্ভুত কিছু নিয়ম কানুন পালন করতে যাইয়া তোমার বাড়ি
তুমি কইতেছোটা কি আমগোর খানদানের পোলাপাইন যদি একবার ঘর জামাই হয়ে যায় গা ওরা তোর খানদানে ফেরত যাবার পারে না
আমি আব্বা আমারে বুঝামু
কি বুঝাইবা তুমি
হয় নাই কা তুমি আমারে বুঝাইতে পারতা আমারে মারলা ওসব আমগো বংশে
গাছকে এইসব হইতেছে আব্বা আমি কই যাবো আব্বা আপনি আমার প্যারা ড্যাডি আব্বা
এই তুই আমার দাঁড়াবি না দূরে থাক
আমি খাটে ঘুমাইছিলাম আমার লাথি মেরে খাটে হালায় ভাইজান লেটে লেটে সারে ঘুমাইছে
হারামজাদা মিছে কথা কস্তুর
বউয়ের সেবা সুন্দর করে না করতে পারলে জামাই পিটানোর রেওয়াজও আছে আই তুমি কুস্তি পারো
না
জি ভাইজান ভাবি ফালতু খানদানে কইলাম আজকে তো আপনার বাস হবে
ফাইনাল ডিসিশন লয়ে লইছি আজকে রাতে কিন্তু আপনার লগেই ঘুমাবো
আমার লগে কেন বাজান আপনি আমার লগে ঘুমাইবেন কেন
জিন্দেগি তুই এই ডার পোষাইতে পারবি না বাজা তোর আমি সাজিয়ে দিতাছি তুই জলদি
ক্যাচে লাগাইছে
মা তুই এক কাম কর জামাই লইয়া শ্বশুর বাড়ি জাগা বোন মা শ্বশুর
এই তো একেবারে বাঘের বাচ্চা
ফুদি দে
আচ্ছা বাঘের মতন যাবি
ফাইনাল ডিসিশন লয়ে লইছি, আজকে রাতে কিন্তু আপনার লগেই ঘুমাবো।
আমার লগে কেন বাজান? আপনি আমার লগে ঘুমাইবেন কেন?
জিন্দেগি তুই এই ডার পোষাইতে পারবি না। বাজার তোর আমি সাজিয়ে দিতাছি তুই জলদি।
ক্যাচে লাগাইছে।
মা তুই এক কাম কর, জামাই লইয়া শ্বশুর বাড়ি জাগা। হন মা, শ্বশুর
এই তো একেবারে বাঘের বাচ্চা। আচ্ছা বাঘের মতন যাবি।
আমি কইতাছি ওখানে খুইলা আসো নালে আমি টাইনা ছিড়া ফেলামু কইলাম।
আমার খানদানি পোশাক তুমি তাই না ছিঁড়া ফেলাইবা?
আমার ফোন দাও।
নিবা আমারে কইছো বন্ধুর লগে কথা কও, তুমি তো এঞ্জেল সোনিয়ার লগে কথা কও কি?
তারপর বউরে দিয়ে হাত পাটি পাইছে, এর বাদে বউরে কইছে পানি লয়ে আহো, বউ পানি লয়ে আইছে, এই পানি দিচ্ছে ফালায়া।
আম্মা আব্বা রুডি সুরত দেখছেন? রুডি এরকম তেরে বাগা খেলা, হ্যাঁ রুডি সুন্দর।
আব্বা আমারে না হয় তুমি বুঝাইলা, তুমি তোমার খানদানের কি বুঝাইবা, আমার আত্মীয় স্বজনের কি বুঝাইবা?
আমি দুঃখিত।
বইয়ের হাতে মার খাওয়া চলে, তাই কিছু কই নাই কা।
আমাগোর খানদানে জামাই মারনের নিয়ম নাইকা।
তুই আমার এখান থেকে যাবি না মানে কি? অক্ষণ তুই বেরোবি।
আব্বা
কুইল যে কাপে না।
ওই বেটা ওই তোর কইলজা কাপে না মিছা কথা কইতে, হ্যাঁ হারাম খোর জানি কোনানকার।
মাগার মারামারিতে 1 নম্বর।
আমি পারি। এখন মনটা চাইতেছে তোমার কান্দের উপর চড়ায় একটা আসান মারি।
ঠিক আছে ভাই, তাহলে আমার মুখ চুপ বন্ধ থাকবো, আর কেউ আমি কিছু কমু না, মুখে কষ্টি।
এখন লাইনে আইছস।
ও গো, কতদিন ধরে তোমার লগে আমি কথা কইতাছি, মাগার
কি করো নাইকা? হ্যাঁ আরো থেকে আউনের পর থেকে কি করতাছো? ফোনের ভিতরে হান্দায় রইছো।
আব্বাই তো মা গো মা, আব্বাই তো দেখি হেভি পাঙ্খ।
নিশ্চয়ই কোনো ভেজাল আছে। ওই দেখি কার লগে ফিল্ডিং মার।
কি আবার সকাল সকাল ঘুম ভালো হইছে, তোমার আব্বার লগে দেখা কইরা এলাম, হাইটটা গেছিলাম, এই ঘটনা।
তুমি রাগ করো না।
রাখতে তুমি করবা, খারা খারা চায়া দাও।
আমি তো ভাবছি ডাকাত পড়ছে নি।
এই শাহজাহানগর বাড়িতে ডাকাত আইবো এমন কোন মায়ালাল পয়দা হইছে নি? তোমার বিছানা আমি ভিজায়া দিছি গা।
এটা তুমি কি করছো?
কি করছি, ঘুমাইবা না?
তোমার পূর্বপুরুষের মাথায় কি সমস্যা ছিল আব্বা?
নাটকের পর কয় কি শুনছো? ওই বেটা
আব্বা জান, আপনার পোলার এখন জিগান তো রুটি গরম না ঠান্ডা?
বাপ রে বাপ, শুনছো নি একেবারে ডর দেয় তো বলে খুশি খুশি করে কাটতো হয়েছে। আপনার ডর আপনার পকেটে থুয়া দেন।
খানদানটা আমার কত উচ্চা দেখতে হইব না?
দেখতেছি তো, উঁচা ভি আর লম্বা ভি।
কুচি কুচি করে না কাইটা ফেলাইছি আব্বা। আমার তো মনে করে যখন ডর দেখাইতে দেখাইতে আমি দেখেন আপনি কি করি। ঘরে আইলাম না, এখন দেন না আসমানে ঠাড়া লাহান একেবারে কাঁপায়া দিমু।
আচ্ছা, আপনার